ready for another lesson?
What's up, everybody, and welcome back to Back Row Banter, your favorite casual movie talk podcast. I'm one of your hosts, Adam Schwartz, and on this week's episode, we'll be talking about the movie Weapons. But of course, before we get to any of that, I'm joined today by not here, Nathaniel Gingrich.
I'm not here. Still not here.
Did you ever have those kids in class in like when they do like attendance?
Oh,
like,
here? Yeah. No,
yeah.
the big one was for everyone to do the a key in our school. I
don't even know what that is.
I think isn't it Spanish for here?
Oh.
See,
I didn't take Spanish, so
that's crazy. I should know that because my high school was like 65% Hispanic.
Sure.
Like I'm sure I've heard that, and it just
pretty high
went way over my head every time. So that's crazy.
I'm sure I've heard it.
Yeah. Well, and fuck, maybe I'm
Just
even saying it
confuse me
wrong. Like, who knows?
Sure. No, I think you're fine.
You're
close enough.
you're fine.
But yeah, that was definitely the comeback for most of those ones, or present. For some reason, people like to do that one as well too. You know, from,
present.
Yeah.
I don't miss those days.
Weird, huh? Did you ever have a teacher that you really like the whole class loved though?
Was there a couple of them? I was very thankful for some of my teachers.
Absolutely.
Very thankful for the education I received. Looking back and seeing the state of the world and everything. And then even when I got to college, I remember in my freshman year, I was in an honors course. And this was the first semester, so I didn't know anybody very well. But me and this other girl like exchanged papers to like peer review really quick before we turned it in, that kind of thing. I don't know if it was like assigned to us that we had to do it or whatever it is. But we exchanged papers, whatever. And I was like, dude, really? Like, this is an honors course? You're writing like this? Like, I was like, I don't know.
Maybe she was a math honors.
Maybe she was. Well, if you read that paper, man, she was like doing pull quotes of like evidence from the text or whatever. But like she would like pull like one or two words. She was like doing like it wasn't like she was it was weird, dude. I was like, you can't just like use that as evidence. Like that's not like you just like pulling like
good
a couple words.
Like,
yeah. So like
inventive.
I was like, you should really like she would like say everything and then like she would like finish her sentence with like a quote from the book of like 2 or 3 words. It was like weird. It was like not great. I was like, but yeah, thankful for the education I had. I had some good teachers.
It was that Missouri high school education system.
Yeah. You know what? Let me tell you.
Do we think that ranks higher than Illinois high school education system? Right?
I don't believe so.
It can't.
Illinois is
I mean, Illinois is pretty fucking shitty though.
I don't think it's that bad.
No?
I think out of everyone, Arizona's going to rank the lowest out of here, boys. I think of the 7 people we got living there, about 6 of them are idiots.
The hard part about Illinois is you have such a dense population in Chicago,
right?
So there's so many schools in there that
we're
really
number
drop
14.
your average.
Exactly,
but there are a lot of suburbs that do have pretty high ranking high schools as well.
14. Where's Arizona?
Scrolling.
There we go.
Okay, now we're getting to something.
Let's see.
Control
Missouri. Since we were talking about that, Missouri is 33. I have to like load the next pages, so I can't control F.
Damn,
that's how far down it is. Arizona, number 42.
There you are.
Yeah. Wow.
Yeah.
So that's actually interesting too. So this is something that we're sidetracking like crazy here. But me and Haley had this conversation visiting one of her friends in Colorado maybe a few months back. We got on the conversation of like high schools and stuff and where you grew up from. And we got on the conversation of education at those specific high schools. And that's when I kind of went on to talk about like my high school and demographics and whatnot. But this high school I went to is like a horrible high school for education. So now with Nathaniel talking about Arizona, like I really want to like look into like national rankings because the highest point is correct. Chicago's such a massive place though. So like there's the averages and the median is going to be all over the place, for lack of a better term.
100%, right?
Because there's schools that are going to be excellent performers in education, and other schools like your CPS schools, right, are going to be the complete total opposite of that. And the high school I went to, so Stringwood High School, we were talking about this. So in national rankings, they're 9,415. They're last in their school district. Their school district is U46, right? So they're last in their school district. In Chicago metro area, they're 225. And in Illinois, they're 323. So for context, we're gonna pull up we'll pull up Adams High School.
Mustangs.
Rolling Metals. Because now
I don't.
This is Back Row Banter, the civics
where we are
episode.
Yeah, I mean, hey, you got to go through these.
Although
I don't know where Meadows ranks nationally,
It's
but I
weird.
know John Hersey High School and Prospect High School are really well known.
Okay, so nationally, right? So for context, they're 1,955, which is about on par with the high school my girlfriend went to in Milwaukee.
Sure.
So yeah, just like wildly different. So like in the Chicago metro area, you're 77. And that's what I went to is 225.
Yeah.
But then like obviously you can get even further into that in terms of like the demographics of my school. My school is
Wow,
like
I had no
70%
idea
Hispanic.
Stream mode was
Just-
that bad.
Where were we?
Oh yeah, it's like it's bad. U46 in general though, is like the worst funded school district outside of CPS in Illinois.
Oh,
Like
okay.
for sure.
No
Like
idea
at the
that
time
about
when
that
I was in
either.
high school, the books were still the original books of the school starting. It's like I'd open a book in like 2011, and you could see the people like the
Whoa.
motherfuckers whose names have been on it before. Like you would see like John Doe 1981 on it. And I was like, that's fucking insane.
Whoa.
Yeah, dude.
That's nuts.
Yeah.
What? Give me the numbers for you guys again. The like your ranking.
Streamwood 9,415, Rolling Metals 1,955. That's national.
So
And this is pulled from the US.news
okay, I'm on the
World
same.
in Education.
I'm the
Very,
same.
very
I'm on
reliable.
the same website. My school, Apache Junction High School, national ranking between 13,242 and 17,655. No
Wow.
actual ranking, just a window.
Wow. So like that's mind blowing to me because like mine was so different from like Haley and her friends. They were looking at me like, how the fuck, like how can you even speak? Like, you know what I mean? Of, like the ranking of the high school I had. Like I'm surprised you can read and write. And then Nathaniel comes in here with 14,000 is insane, dude.
That's crazy, dude. We got to do Tyler.
Ranks nationally 2,737th.
Yeah.
Damn.
Okay.
So-
And that's Woodstock,
All
right?
Yeah,
Okay. What is it in Illinois?
58.
Oh,
So,
man.
Again,
Wait,
mine.
that's weird. Wait, so my high school's higher nationally, but your high school is higher in the state?
Woodstock
pull
High
up.
School is ranked 58th of all Illinois high schools, ranked second in public high schools in McHenry County.
I'm between 239 and 360 in Arizona, and between 165 and 218 in the Phoenix, Arizona metro high school area. The people that
Wow.
passed at least one AP exam, 1%.
Oh,
Okay. Yeah, that's like
Um,
mine was like 3 point something percent. You know what I mean? It's like you're on par. But Nathaniel was actually the first person I've come across who's like, I feel bad for your high school. Like most motherfuckers look at me like I'm crazy. And like look at my parents like, how could you ever send your child to school there? But it's like this is just proof that it's education is what you make it, right? Like this is literally proof of that, 'cause
100%.
I have friends who all of my friends who went to the same high school, and I mean, I feel like we all do relatively okay with life, right? And everyone's
Yeah, man.
smart, everyone's can communicate, we learn different things, and yeah, it's just interesting, man. Incredibly interesting.
yeah.
But shout out Nathaniel's high school, 17,000 in the fucking country, whatever it is fucking insane, bro.
Apache Junction, baby.
AJ, baby.
Conjunction, junction.
What's your function?
Function.
Yeah, we didn't get those
Also
till high
joining us
school.
today.
Those
Whoa.
videos. I'm just kidding. I'm joking. I'm joking.
Also joining us today is 217 Tyler Vidal.
Not his ranking.
217.
Just the time he wakes up.
PM or
It used to
AM?
be the
That's
time I used to
either
go to
way,
bed.
I'm concerned. Yeah, once upon a time,
Yeah.
I thought of staying up that late makes my head hurt.
I was pretty close to staying up that late on Friday night when I was playing some Battlefield.
Whoa.
Uh-oh.
Yeah,
How was
I
it?
was gonna join you on Friday night to play
It's
some
great,
Battlefield.
man.
And then,
Yeah, I really had like this, kind of fantasy apparently made up in my head that, all the homies were gonna jump on and then turns out that it was a closed beta and you needed a code to get access to it, and then everybody was like, yeah, that's too many hoops for me to jump through, and I don't want to do it. And I'm like, no, it's not that hard, brother. I'm like, it literally is like one of the easiest things to do if you already have all these accounts. And so yeah,
So
Adam was gonna play, but then he had to do a bunch of driver updates and all this other stuff, and then by the time he actually got access, it was just like too late. And so we were like, and then
well, it wasn't
he
even
gave me
it
like
wasn't even
false
that,
hope.
man.
No, I'm finishing my story. He gave
All
me
right.
false hope. And he was like, you know what, dude? He's like, I'll get up early. I'll get up early with you. I'll grab a cup of coffee. We can jam out in the morning. I'm like, dude, bet. Like, I'm a morning person. This sounds like a dope way to start my Saturday because Leah had to work. So I'm like, bet. So I got up at like 7 a.m. Got myself a cup of coffee, came downstairs, and it was like 7:30 before I texted Adam. I'm like, I'm gonna be on, brother. If you want to, hop on here. And
What's
it
the
was
move?
It was basically like in quotes, like go fuck yourself. So I was like, all right, cool. Well, I'll just go play Battlefield by myself. So
Yeah, that part's real. That part did happen.
but I put in work over the weekend for Battlefield.
I wish I was there for you
again.
every minute of your Battlefield weekend. I really do. I had an incredibly busy weekend. We got on Friday night to play with Tyler. First, my PC was having issues. Then I finally get the game open and won't let me queue up. And I knew it was not an open beta yet, but I thought since when I got on with Tyler, I paid $100 for the game to get the premium version that comes with the battle pass, so I don't have to buy it when the game starts. I'm just gonna have it there. I paid $100. I figured that would give me access since I pre-ordered it. No, I still got to watch a Twitch stream for 30 minutes to get an early access code, so I can't play. I paid $100. I still can't play the game, so I go to bed. I did tell Tyler I could maybe play in the morning for like a short amount of time because I was going to the Live Golf event in Bowling.
Oh yeah.
On Saturday with a bunch of people. So we had our bus leaving at like 11:30. So I was like, I can maybe get up early. And I did get up by like 8:30, but then stuff was happening with people's rides. The train wasn't showing up in Chicago. Like stuff was happening in the morning where things started going haywire a little bit. Ended up working out, but I just didn't end up having time to hop on. So I got like 2 or 3 games in on Saturday night. So I mean, it was fun. What I played was great, but you're gonna have to wait for the game to come out.
Yeah, man, it's dope. It's a lot of fun. I'm starting to see the memes already. I just saw one today where it was like some guy, some Call of Duty troll, and he was just like, breaking news, guys. He's like, Battlefield 6 servers lost over 500,000 players after first release week, and it was because it was a fucking beta and they closed it during the week. So it was just like funny as fuck. And so there was essentially, I don't know if it's real, but apparently I saw a thing of like where Activision had put out a like full blown like letter about like giving Battlefield its props and everything like that, but they're like, we're coming for you, and I'm like, shut up, dude. Nobody gives a shit.
Yeah,
that game's so
cares.
washed.
Black Ops 7 ain't gonna do shit.
No, I think they've just, I don't trust them anymore. I don't. It's just, you've completely and utterly lost anything that's, if you guys are like, we're making a groundbreaking game, I don't fucking believe you. I don't believe you. You guys can't even take fucking care of basic bullshit cheaters that are happening egregiously. And if you do ban them, you only account ban them. You don't PI or IP ban them or anything like that. It's bullshit. There's no hardware ban on their stuff. They just make a new account. They just go right back to fucking cheating. It's fucking terrible. Fuck them. But 217, dude. Let's talk about this movie. It's a great movie.
Yeah. Also joining us is Bigwig Blake.
Hey, okay.
Big wig, Blake.
I should have. If I would have known that, I would have put on a wig for this recording, man.
Do you have one readily available?
No, I contrary to popular belief, I do not have a wig readily available to record podcasts.
What about a toupee?
First of all, it's called a toupee, okay?
Yeah.
Fuck off.
No, but that may have to be a bit one time where obviously this is an audio podcast only, but to actually jump on here like full wig one time.
One week
Dude,
we've all shaved our heads
with a fucking hairpiece. I'd fucking die, dude. I would fucking die.
And it's like weirdly combed and gelled too. Like it's not even like
Yeah,
it's like not even black people hair.
Yeah, it's just blonde.
White people hair on my head.
I'm sure we have talked about it at some point. Can you grow hair and you just choose not to?
At this point, I don't think I can. No.
Okay.
No.
I was always curious. I wasn't sure if we had talked about this and anything like that. But yeah, I was just like, it would be so weird if like you just like Brian Urlachered us for the last 7 years of our lives.
he
just
could
started
always
fucking
grow
growing your hair again. Yeah, I'd be like, what the fuck is this?
Yeah, no, I remember Nathaniel. Just a few episodes back where he said like that's one of like the most like I forgot what he said. Most manly things you could do.
Just power move.
Be bald for like a decade plus and just like pop out one time like with a full head of hair.
Just grow it back.
Yeah.
I mean, if Urlacher truly never got any of those hair
sure
replacements, and like he was just sandbagging the whole time, that'd be amazing. I mean, he just decided that was going to be his whole thing.
Play the long game, brother.
Yeah. No, he definitely got whatever the American version of Turkish placements is, but
Yeah, for sure.
He's got a whole new rug up there.
Yeah.
Anyways,
good set of wig in this film, right?
Yeah, we do have a wig in here somewhere. But anyway, welcome listeners to the main review segment of the podcast. Nathaniel, if a listener here is new or maybe they've just forgotten, can you give them a rundown of how our review segment works?
Hello, friends. Welcome. If you're new or perhaps you've just forgotten, the way that it works here on Back Row Banter is that it is split into two sections. That is our review segment. In the non-spoiler section, we'll go over the movie itself, who wrote it, who directed it, who's in it, all of that good stuff. We'll go around the quadrant and decide if we like this movie enough to give it a recommendation. It's got to be a yes or no. There is no nuance on the internet. From then on, we will dive a little bit deeper into any spoilers about this movie. We said we're talking about weapons. And yeah, there's going to be some spoilers. We're going to go deep, and we're going to have thoughts. And any of those will be after the spoiler tag. If you don't want to have anything spoiled for you, don't worry about that. But check back in our show notes, which will tell you when our spoilers are over, so you can see where we rank it up on our Entropy list, now featuring tiers. With that being said, Adam.
Of your children.
Tell me about weapons.
I would love to. This is a new movie, of course. Rated. Imagine if it was like rated R or rated.
I was gonna say M for mature.
Ayo, adults only.
Rated R, 2 hour and 8 minute runtime, and an IMDb rating of 7.9 out of 10. The cast directed by Zach Kreger and written by Zach Kreger, who podcast listeners may know from his previous movie Barbarian. I don't know what else he's done or if it's anything of note. I feel like that's definitely kind of his biggest.
The whitest kids you know back in the day, if you're a millennial.
Oh,
which is a wild turn to what this is.
Yeah, very much so.
Well, either way, Zach Kreger returns to the podcast. The cast includes Julia Garner, Josh Brolin, Benedict Wong. Who else do we have here? Who is Carrie Christopher? We're Amy Madigan.
Yep.
Who else? Am I missing anyone else? Big? Oh, Alden. Well, how do you pronounce his last name? Ehrenreich? Ehrenreich?
Yeah, I think it's Ehrenreich.
Ehrenreich. He has a pretty prominent role. And then who is what's the
James.
drug
Paxton.
dude's name? What'd you say? Austin Abrams is who I'm looking for. Who are you talking about? Blake?
It's got Sarah Paxton on there and Justin Long.
Oh, I forgot Justin Long.
Justin Long.
How
Yeah.
could I forget? And yes, Sarah
Yeah.
Paxton here as well.
I guess spoiler alert.
Yeah. Who is the? Is Sarah Paxton? Is that the mom?
That's Justin Long's wife.
That's Justin Long's wife.
Okay, then who play the parents?
Something
They're
Whitman.
like, you like
I don't know
hardly.
I don't remember their name.
Oh,
Alex's dad is Whitmer Thomas, and then
yeah,
Callie
yeah.
Shutera. Sorry, they are just Alex's mom and dad. So I was just looking for that. All right, cool. Well, the IMDb summary reads as follows: when all but one child from the same class mysteriously vanish on the same night at exactly the same time, a community is left questioning who or what is behind their disappearance. Great summary. Love that. Tells you what you need to know. Doesn't spoil anything. Get you a little excited for it. That was a great IMDb summary. I'm 2 thumbs up. Yeah, I feel like this is one, if you've seen a trailer even, it kind of sticks with you, the concept of it. And it's obviously been getting quite a bit of buzz past week or two, with everything with all the positive reviews coming out from it. And as a pretty horror heavy podcast, and with 2 very horror enthusiastic hosts here, I'm excited to talk about this with you guys. I'll kick it over to Blake to start us off.
Ooh. All right, guys. So I caught this over the weekend. Once I caught it Saturday evening. Because I was gonna go to a showing with Adam and some of his buddies, but Haley actually wanted to see this, so I had to hang tight. So she was free. So I ended up seeing it with her. Jump into it. I mean, I went into it blind as always. You guys know I'm not big on trailers and teasers, so I didn't really know what this is about. I remember all the promo of like weird kids running out in the middle of the night, right? It's kind of like all I really knew. But then going in and actually really liking Barbarian on a first blind watch, had an idea of what I was signing up for. Jump into it. I don't think I like this film that much. It's got some very interesting components that make it up to the point where I can see why a lot of people will enjoy this movie. Similarly to if you liked Barbarian, Zach Cregger is excellent at balancing the line between horror and comedy, which makes it already massively more palatable than, say, 28 weeks later, or 28 years later, pardon me, a Bring Her Back, something of that nature, right? So I see why this is going to do crazy numbers at the box office, and people talk about it. It is an awesome theater viewing, as Barbarian was, but yeah, there's few things in here that I don't really like the concept and the execution. It's kind of hard to talk about those without jumping into spoilers, of course. But yeah, I mean, there are some scenes in here that have great tension, particularly one probably at the end of the first act or beginning of the second act, that involves a pair of scissors and somebody in a vehicle.
Sure.
Probably the best tension scene we have in the entire film, right? But it seems to be lacking a lot of those, for my liking of a horror picture. So I'll talk way more in spoilers. It's kind of hard to dance around here, but ultimately I'm gonna recommend it. It's not a horrible film, right? I'm not up here like blasting it, but it's I don't think I'm as high as everyone else is on this, because if you go online, if you're in the social medias, if you're in the forums, a lot of people really enjoy this movie. So I'll talk about it in depth there, but those are kind of my first thoughts. Ty?
Yeah, I had a pretty good experience. I am like super fresh off this. I went and saw this after work today, so yeah, it's pretty fresh for me. Um, I think I had a pretty good time overall. I definitely I like the concept. I had to do a little bit more digging in some things afterwards just to kind of get a little bit of a better idea of where some of these concepts were going or coming from. Gore is awesome, top notch stuff we're seeing from like a body horror aspect of things, or just how gory some things are. And then yeah, there's definitely a couple of times where I like caught myself laughing out loud. I'm like, oh my god, like I'm like that's hilarious. So yeah, and then I would have to agree with you about that that particular scene being kind of probably one of the highest tension points in the movie by far. There were a couple other ones. We do get a couple of jump scares in this, which I think were executed fairly well. But yeah, there were some things that I think I definitely would have rather had seen versus, you know, how it was executed. And yeah, so overall I'm definitely what it sounds like a little bit more positive on this than Blake is. But yeah, I think I had a fairly decent time with this movie. I'm also going to be a recommend. And yeah, I'm curious to see what the rest of the crew is on about. So popcorn Adam.
Man, I was expecting more positive reviews to come in so far. I really enjoyed this movie. Really liked it. It's not the scariest movie I've ever seen in terms of, you know, the tension moments or the jump scares or whatever it is. But I don't always need that for it to be like a good horror movie necessarily. Like there's other things that I think can kind of creep you out or unnerve you that make it good. And I think this movie does that really well. In a similar way to Barbarian. It's very similar to it in that aspect. So yeah, I think this movie is really well done. And it has a great blend, like as Tyler's saying, like there was definitely some funny moments in this. And I think it had such a really good blend of tone between comedy and horror, and I think it walked the line really well personally. So I had a good time on that front. I think the acting is really good. I love Josh Brolin in this.
Yeah, for sure.
I think he's
I think I love Josh Brolin in anything. But
I think I do too. That
agreed.
is the other half of that for sure. And Julia Garner's great. And Benedict Wong. Yeah, just like up and down. Really great acting. I just had a really good time with this movie. I do think it's really good. It's tied probably with movie of the year for me with Sinners. Might edge it out by the year. We're gonna see how this one sits a little bit more. But yeah, dude, I thought this was really good and really well done. I'm excited to talk about it more. There's part of me that the expectations were high, and I think they cleared the bar. And there's some of the ways I've heard this movie talked about. It's like, oh, this was a generational movie, and I don't think it's quite there for me, but I still think it's like really good. One of, if not the best movie of the year. And I'm excited to talk about it more in spoilers, but I'm definitely recommend. Nathaniel, I'm curious to see where you lie.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, I land positive. Yeah, I had a good time with this one. I think we are seeing that at this point the Back Row boys are knowledgeable in horror. Are like we live in this genre. I know for sure Blake is obviously a hardcore Tyler has dipped his toes in there. He's definitely expanded his vision, and I think even now, like Adam sees more horror movies than the average moviegoer at this point.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
So, and I think this is a movie. The way that I described it to my friend is it's more Jordan Peele than it is James Wan. That like very much in that same kind of tone of like, this is a very good movie with horror elements and is set in the field of horror rather than a horror movie as much. And I don't blame Zach Kreger for this. I think this movie in a lot of ways has had the most kind of successful marketing campaign since Longlegs in terms of the ring cam, the overall thing, like the great thing about this movie is it's got an amazing hook. It has got an incredible hook that everyone gets. 17 kids disappeared on one night. They all left at the same time. It was all one classroom. There was one left. That's everyone is you're in at that point. You're curious about what happened, and it's great. And I think Zach Kreger understands when to give audiences information and understands that is building the movie as well too, and how you control that drip feed of information to the audience is a way to craft your film. Now, do I think it's the best horror movie of the year? I don't know. I think Bring Her Back is still maybe the one that to me speaks the most, but I'm in the genre, right? I'm ahead at this point. I eat, breathe, and sleep horror in film and reading at this point. So like, those are the themes that for me I'm interested in, and I can handle that level of stuff. I think for the average moviegoer, though, this hits that sweet spot where Get Out and Nope and all of that stuff just live. And it's got this buzz behind it from Barbarian, and it's got this great marketing behind it. I do think, like, I personally love where this story goes. I'm so happy that is where we decided to go with this movie and that kind of thing. But I don't think it's going to be for everyone. And I think obviously the positive buzz that this is built is going to have a blowback in about 5 days. But I am positive on this one. I think it's a highlight in a year full of horror highlights. And yeah, I'm happy. I'm excited to see what Zach Kreger does next. I'll be honest. I think he really does understand filmic structure, and in some ways he's got a really good eye for imagery as well too. There's some tracking shots in this movie that I'm just are chef's kiss for me. Like, I'm just like, I haven't seen a camera used like this in so long, and it's so.
And especially in a horror movie, I mean, James Wan has done quite a few of.
But a lot of time he's innovating. This felt like it was more
right.
It's going back to a style in some ways.
Yeah.
And it was. I was just at certain points. I was like, this shot, yes, please. Like, I felt good. I felt like
agree.
I was like, this is a dude that gets it. Like he understands filmmaking and movie making, and I mean, that's not to discount Blake at all. I totally understand where he's coming from on this. I walked out of that movie feeling like the old heads of horror aren't gonna love how positively this is being accepted, because it's just like, we like something with a little bit more bite to it at certain points as well too. And this one, like, it does a good job, but every now and then, it toes the line. I think it's tasteful. It's a tasteful horror movie in a lot of ways. That being said, Benedict Wong running at me, I'm scared.
Oh my God.
I think that's it for spoiler. But for me, before spoilers, I'm a recommend. I think this feels fun. It feels like it's gonna be the counterpart to Sinners, where Sinners is this big cultural movie with all these themes and this ideas behind it, where this is just this kind of like perfect encapsulation of horror, and like is much less concerned with what it all means, and is more just kind of about spooking people some. But I don't know. I'm still excited. I'm excited about it. It kind of reminds me of Sam Raimi, like early Sam Raimi.
Sure.
With that mixture of horror and humor. One of the great what the fucks that we've gotten recently, which we might talk about more in spoilers. But yeah, recommend. Let's do this.
All right,
cool.
We're gonna go ahead and head into spoilers. So if you've not seen
recommends all around.
Yeah.
As expected. Yeah, I don't think it's not a poor film by any means. Pardon me. But do we want to hit the spoiler noise or?
Yeah, I got you.
When we're if you've not seen the movie, go ahead, check episode description where I've left a timestamp you can jump to. We'll be taking to movies ranking up upon our entropy list.
Spoilers.
There it is. So, I mean, yeah, guys, I trust me, I wanted to love this movie as much as everybody else, right? And I caught it release weekend, right? Obviously, as we're recording now, so you didn't really get all like the immediate hype of it, right? But I kind of went in hyping myself, just being a huge fan of Crackers and Barbarian. But there's just some things that I just don't genuinely care for. But before that, I do want to agree with some of the cinematography, and this is phenomenal. Same as Barbarian, where he has first person shots in Barbarian. We're in the basement. There's a shot in here where they look through a peephole and you get the peephole shot. It's like phenomenal. He does those things that are it's excellent.
The first 10 minutes we don't see Julia Garner's face. It's almost all from behind her head as we follow her around and that kind of thing. I thought that was great. Yep. And then man, those shots of like starting in the car, zooming in on the doorway, tracking the figure from the doorway to the car, or like when it's the reverse later on and it's the kids watching the kids come up the driveway. So much of that I was just like, man, this is fucking awesome. Like that's so cool. It's such simple.
And it looks creepy too.
Yeah, dude. The simple fact of the kids with the arms out, and then having that mirrored in Benedict Wong when you get him later and that kind of thing. Like that's just such good. It's good stuff, man. It's good stuff.
Yeah. Go ahead. Go ahead.
No. You go.
No, you go ahead.
Yeah, go ahead, Ty, please.
Son of a bitch. Adam, you piece of shit. No, I was just gonna say the arms thing, that it's just such a cool way to carry the continuity through what's happening through all the characters that are, and I'm assuming we're all like, this is like possession, correct? This is where we're at with this.
Yeah.
Oh, she's a witch. Yeah, she's a witch, and
that's a good way to put it out there, Ty. This is to its core, it's a possession film, right? Which you may not know if you're going in blind, right? I mean, I guess I didn't know it was a possession film.
I had no idea. I genuinely speaking, probably like, the first act of the movie, you're really like, part of me sitting there and I'm trying to, kind of, you're automatically in detective mode. You're like, who is doing what are people's mannerisms? Who is kind of pointing fingers at who is actually playing something behind the curtain? And you immediately want to go after, I can't remember her name.
Gardner.
Teacher.
Jennifer Gardner.
Yeah.
Justine.
Miss Gandhi.
Justine.
Yeah. And so, there's something about her, and she plays it so well. I have gotten plenty of time with her in Ozark. I think she's a phenomenal actress. She knows how to flip a switch like you wouldn't believe. And if you really want to see what her range is and you haven't watched Ozark, I highly recommend you go look at that, because she is phenomenal. But I immediately was like, I don't know about her, man. I think there is something weird. I just can't put my finger on it. And then it's cool the way that you get everybody's different perspectives from their point of view throughout the film, and you kind of start seeing everybody else thing. And that's another thing too. The camera work on that alone is what drew me in. the ability to play the same scene over again in certain aspects, but having the camera in a different point of view from whoever's POV that was something that I thought was just incredibly smart from a camera angle or camera work kind of view. So that was something that I thought was just kind of like Nathaniel's chef's kiss, as far as not necessarily the individual shots, which I do agree with. They were awesome in the car and coming up the driveway and everything like that. But being able to see the camera work from different POVs when we switched characters was something that I thought was done really, really well.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, my friend getting out of the movie called it horror Pulp Fiction.
So genuinely, that was
Yeah.
the other mark in my head that like it kicked off, was that like it is this Sam Raimi, Jordan Peele Pulp Fiction where the movie isn't linear in the shot selection and time, but it is linear in how the audience understands the story being told, whether that is in what is being shown to the audience or what the characters are doing or the dialogue. Like the structure and the through line of the movie isn't just based in plot, it's based in the movie itself. And I think that is a very unique thing to film, that when you're watching it feels new, and when done correctly feels very unique as a viewing experience. Blake, go ahead. You had some thoughts you wanted to say there as well too.
Yeah, no, I mean, I didn't want to shit on the film too early, right? I want everyone to kind of give their praise and also provide some of my praise. So, in terms of how the film's shot and you have different characters coming in at different point of times, and it's not necessarily chronological order. It's those are all of the things that I adore of this film. And he also pulls a lot of that from Barbarian, right? Where if you remember Barbarian, spoiler alert for that, that's not necessarily told in the same chronological point. It's not necessarily chapters per se, how this film is broken up into chapters.
It's like Barbarian doubled almost. Like it is.
Yes. Yeah. Correct. So yeah, I think he did great with that. But I mean, I think my huge gripes with this are just, I think the concept of this film is awesome, but I think once it's applied to film, like I don't know if I agree with all of it. I think there's some characters in here and there's some fluff in here that I think like we don't really need a lot of time. Like for example, like the junkie and the police officer. I don't think they need entire chapters just for like us as the audience. There's no really reward for us for any of that. Like they just turn out to be the zombie possessed people at the end.
They end up being lackeys.
Yeah, right. Where it's like, I think this film would have benefited more if we would have gotten chapters of the people's parents, right? And seeing how the different families and different adults are either going through grief or depression or whatnot in terms of trying to figure out what happened to their children. Right, if that kind of makes sense. Like I think that the only parent you really see is fucking Josh Brolin.
But if
right, there's like 17 kids who. Go ahead.
Hey, Justin Long.
I was gonna say,
and Justin, like hardly.
But if you
shout out Justin Long for sure. I'm sorry to cut you off, but when he goes to the house and he sees Sarah's Paxton, he's like, "Hey, I want to see security footage." She's like, "No, I'm not giving you that. There's 17 kids missing. Why the fuck would I give you footage of my child?" Right? It's like, "Oh, yeah, that's valid." And then it cuts to the scene where he's sitting there eating. I was like, he's definitely waiting for her spouse. And I was like, there's no way this is Justin Long. And then it's Justin Long, but like nobody in my theater laughed besides me, and I was so fucking upset, man. And I was like, this is not.
We had some laughs in my
so
theater.
that's why you don't like the movie.
Terrible, dude. And I had a pretty packed theater, and nobody laughed. Yeah, man. But go ahead.
Was it me? Sorry.
Yes.
Yeah. What were we talking about though? I got distracted by Justin Long.
The cop and the drug addict character plotline.
So like if you removed them and then like had other parents in there instead, like I still feel like they are, the whole thing is that the fact that it builds to everyone going to the same house at the end. So would you have them all end up there instead, like that kind of thing? Like, I don't love the Alden Ehrenreich character either, but like his backstory makes his death more not tragic, but like almost semi-earned in that way. It's like, oh yeah, you're a piece of shit, but you're also down on your luck kind of thing. I don't know. I guess like, yeah, but like the junkie also ends up being great comedy as well too. And like he also arguably
for sure.
he finds the kids. Like he's the one that like gets everything together. Like I don't know. I do understand what you're saying, Blake, and I understand where you're coming from on that side of things. And I think the movie itself, like it puts Brolin's character in that role, and then kind of, you're right, it does subsume every other like parent in the class, right? But like, just the fact of this movie to have the balls of it to be an actual witch, and like for that to be the reveal, and then to like have it kind of go in this direction. I don't know, like it was just, I was so like, early on the Brolin character writes the witch on the side of Garner's car, and I was like, well, it could be a witch. Like, what if that's what's happening? Oh shit, okay. Like, and then like it becomes this almost dark fairy tale, which to me is just so, it warms my heart a little bit. I'm like, oh yes, you do know Guillermo del Toro. Like, this is what I want in like horror movies sometimes. Like, make this dark fantasy thing. Like, I'm fucking sick of trauma and ghosts. There's a fucking witch who wants to fuck shit up. Like, yeah, that's great. Like,
she comes in and terrorizes a neighborhood, right?
Yeah.
So yeah, I totally see that picture, man. But I think there's some points of the other characters that just aren't deep dived enough. Like the Josh Brolin character, they talked about him and his wife. They're not necessarily estranged, but like she doesn't seem
that's true
too fond of him currently, and like she's grieving totally different about her missing child. And there's like maybe 2 lines on that, and then it's like completely put to the wayside.
But for sure, like, you can tell there's a wedge.
Stuff. Yeah, like that's the stuff I kind of want to see
for sure
blossomed out into a story.
But I loved that it was a horror movie of almost 2 different movies, right? There's this one thing that's the inciting event, which is the 17 kids that disappear, right? And the community's reaction to that. But then the reveal of what is actually happening, where you like narrow down to Alex's point of view, that's almost a second movie, right? It's like, this is happening to this child, and because of that, that has spun out to affect everyone else. But I kind of loved that, like, that the ultimate reveal is not this thing of like, oh, all the kids got on it together and they decided they hated their teacher and like that's just thing. But no, it's a witch. It's a fairy tale kind of thing. And she's torturing this little boy, and now it's spilled out to everything else, and now the community is affecting it in one way. So you got this kind of, you got Bring Her Back, but you also got the Sinners element of it as well too, where it is this very personal story for this one character, but you see how that affects the society and the community around it as well too, until your only point of view characters are these 2 people who seem very diametrically opposed at the start but end up working together. And like, all of that is just such
the same mission.
Yeah, it's such old school storytelling that like me as a observer, like, just I get excited about that. This feels like Kreger announcing himself in the realms of the Raimis, the Peels, the new school horror writers who can also mine those other areas. Like, this movie is very funny. Like I said, the what the fuck that Josh Brolin gives out at the after his nightmare thing had my theater going nuts. And then
I was dying.
We haven't brought up the end yet, but the moment that homeboy snaps the stick, my theater was in tears, cheering as well too, like
Yeah.
that, and that's such a rare thing in horror movies. That just made me like feel like, man, we're all going through this together, and this is awesome. To the point that like a guy in front of me, like after the movie ended, he was like, I laughed, I cried, I was scared. That was an awesome movie. And like that made me feel great, right? Like that made me feel like, fuck it, this is what it's all about, kind of thing. So
right. Yeah, the ending, particularly that last chapter, like, or the closing scenes, right? It is very rewarding for the viewer, right? Because you've now sat here for 2 hours. We've learned who, what is it? Is it Gladys?
Yeah.
Something like
Gladys. That. Yeah, she's a completely despicable character, right? So like you're now watching these 17 children who have essentially been we'll paint the picture. The children have been quote unquote kidnapped or possessed because the belonging from them that has to originate from their home has been given to the grandmother who's a witch. She then can possess them, so they come over to their house at the middle of the night at one time, and she's essentially feeding off of them to survive, right? That's kind of the takeaway. Is that's her life form, and she's incredibly old, and arguably older than his real aunt, arguably older than his mom's mother's sister, probably much older than we really know.
And you can use the people under your control to attack other people, basically, as well too. Is the kind of second part of it is like, once you have control over them, you can either kind of suck their life force or force them to do things as well too.
Yeah. So seeing that come full circle, and shout out to Alex being one of the smarter horror kids we've ever had, right? So I will give him credit for that. For sure. That's fucking awesome. I love seeing
questioning what the fuck is going on.
yeah, for sure. And like doing some problem solving, realizing he's seen her use the stick before.
Yeah.
Or the twig, whatever you want to call it, right? And figured out how it works. Shout out to him, man. I love seeing people make good decisions in horror movies.
It's off the tree, right? Like that she's always carrying around, and like
her little evil bonsai tree. Also, another little thing that Alex did very well. He put his fucking shoes on before shit hit the fan.
Yeah.
I was like, brother, I mean, let's get it.
In case you ever gotta run, man, you don't want to be barefoot, right?
No.
So
fuck no.
Yeah, incredibly smart kid and a good payoff for the theater as well. It's like there are redeeming things in this movie. I don't want to get on here and sound like I'm like shitting on it, like, oh, this movie's terrible. And I don't want to get on here and sound too pretentious, like I'm not above like the comedy horror things. I love the Final Destination films.
Sure.
I love shit like that, right? So like it's not necessarily that like, oh, I need everything to be about trauma and I need everyone to die and things of that nature. But yeah, there's just, on top of what we've said, there's also like some weird plot holes to me. Like it seems like instead of getting those chapters of the junkie and the cop, I think they could have fleshed out other things, i.e. the Josh Brolin marriage situation, i.e. maybe a little, I don't even want more backstory on Aunt Gladys, maybe more backstory on Justine, the actual teacher. Or if not, that's fine, but just like provide me the mental workaround of like the plot hole to me is that the 17 kids missing, and not once nobody ever questioned why the fuck is this kid still here. Like the fact that that's never brought up was so mind blowing to me. Where I was like, well, what's the teacher doing? What's the teacher doing? But like, there's 17 kids missing, one of them still here, and no one's thought like, man, I don't know, man, should we check this guy's like parents' house?
They did.
Or, like
they say that they checked the house and like they.
At the beginning, yeah, because they show I think that's like the prelude, right?
Right.
Because Aunt Gladys is actually sitting there talking to the police.
Right, yeah.
I guess. But it's like they show scenes of him walking around fucking grocery shopping.
I mean, yeah.
He's fucking 7 years old. Like there's 18 kids missing. So this guy's 7 years old grocery shopping by himself?
100%.
Yeah, like I don't know.
That is definitely part where I'm like, if you pick threads at this, like you are going to find things. Yeah. Like why does Why does no one show up for the kid when he's like shopping with all this stuff? Where does he get the money from? What is like where, it's all the stuff. If you start asking questions about it, it's, you can pull the threads at it. I feel like this movie is created with the idea of like, here's the story I'm telling, here is the information that I'm going to give the audience at certain times, and it is all building to this, which executes at Y and becomes, X, and the result is catharsis and feeling. And I don't think it's as much of this idea of like, well, I'm creating this world, and this world's got to have rules, and the rules all have to make sense, and it all has to tie together. I think it's much more the filmmaking as an emotion, or as an experience kind of thing overall. But I get where you're coming from. Like I had those same questions as well too. I think the movie for me answered those accurately enough, or gave me enough things to focus on, that I was like, at the end I was like, I don't care, this is great.
Yeah. I think like at first, like one of my biggest questions were like, why wouldn't you look in this fucking basement? Why wouldn't this be the first fucking, like one of the first fucking places that a cop would look?
They moved
like they would,
children.
I'm very, yes, great, thank you.
Cool.
That's that's where I was saying that was like one of my biggest questions when that was all kind of happening.
I'm
and then
sorry.
Of course they obviously put that in the end on how she moved them, and so I was like, oh, okay, so yeah, like that did answer some of those questions.
Yeah,
my
for sure.
biggest kind of gripe was, and it's kind of like a twofer. It's not really a gripe because of like what it stands for, but this movie could have been like this perfect little world of its own, and it would have been great as like just this little story that got told, and I would have been super happy with it. When you get to Josh Brolin's dream, runs through the forest, comes back out of the forest, he's looking at his house again, and there is a massive M4 above the house.
Yeah. With 217
and then it
on the
shows
side.
with 217 up it. So after the movie, I had to sit there and I had to kind of work with myself. I'm like, why was that there? That like this movie has nothing to do with guns. Like I understand weapons, but it has. So I'm sitting there and I'm thinking to myself. So I had to look it up. This is where I did a little bit more of my deep dive, and so the play on it is essentially there's a close tie to gun violence here. There's like a
the whole classroom going missing kind of thing. Yeah.
Yep.
I mean,
and so I didn't necessarily need that tie. I didn't need there to be this big kind of like, this is why I made this horror story. And so I don't know if I necessarily needed that up there. I think you could have accomplished the movie by itself. And I understand like the director wants to have his own emotional ties and his own kind of things to put into movies. But if that wasn't there, I wouldn't have had to look it up, and then this would have been, so it doesn't ruin it. And I'm glad that he's obviously doing, the things that he wants to do, make movies for and put things in there for his reasoning and everything like that. But the fact that it was in there and it made me question why it was in there. And then that was the reason. Like there was no direct tie from the film to why that was in there. Was kind of like I had to go look for it, I guess, is like what my gripe was. If I didn't have to look for it and there was a little bit more tie-in, I would have been a little bit more happy with kind of how that worked out. But the fact that it made me question, and maybe that was his overall goal. Maybe his goal was to just put it in there so people would have to go look it up to see what the tie-in was. And so either way, he's obviously, if you make it a little bit more of a blatant tie-in, you're accomplishing your goal. If you don't, you make people go look it up and see what it is, you're still accomplishing your goal. But that was kind of like my biggest thing to where that tie-in was. And then obviously the 217, I've heard a couple of different things. Obviously it's the room from The Shining. So that was kind of like a tie-in from there, potentially. But then there's also, again, I had to do a little bit of digging, but that was how many votes that were a vote for yes for the House representatives for passing the gun ban on assault rifles. It was 217 votes for
I
the
don't
U.S.
know.
House. So
That
that was something else that I kind of had to look up. And so I don't know. I'd have to look a little bit more to see if that's directly from him and
Yeah.
he has said why he put those things in there. But that is essentially my kind of small gatherings of what I have looked for. So but overall, I mean, that's like I said, that's not even like a gripe. It's just one of my things. Like, you know, if there's, I had to go look for it because it stuck in my head, and you know, maybe that was his whole point.
Yeah.
But that was kind of my thing.
I think I guess like for me the gun thing was not like, oh, it needs to be checked. It was him realizing that they leave from the house and go like a bullet to a location. And it's like it was more that like Brolin understanding that side of things. And I know like Kreger has talked about it's not so much gun violence as it is like losing your parents or people you know to alcoholism. Is kind of
Right.
like the more direct thing he's talked about, where like the fact letting someone else into your home who's not a family member like increases like risk of abuse by like some crazy number, like 75 or 100% or something like that.
Sure.
And he was talking more about like how that, and then like losing someone to alcoholism where they just become completely different from who they were, kind of thing, was more his influence on that. The gun thing, like, yeah, I get it. Like the whole like idea of like the class disappearing, that's gonna naturally feel gun-esque, and particularly with that vision. But like, I didn't ever interpret it as like this critique or even reckoning on gun violence. It was more like this.
I didn't either until I looked it up.
Yeah,
But that's why, like
but
I
like,
said, if
even
maybe they
if
would
that-
have used a different
but
symbology for it, I would have,
what's
you know,
what's
maybe
the symbolism there? But like, that's also like, I guess like that's also the low hanging fruit too. Like that's part of maybe, and maybe this is just me being the like the college like academic that I am, of like, all right, man, like dig one step deeper beyond it being gun violence as well too, right? Like
100%.
I feel like this
the gun-
so much has in tone with like Pan's Labyrinth in terms of the like fairy tale aspect of this, even with
my first.
I was just going to point out the
Go ahead.
child narrator, who is like, this happened once
for
upon a
sure.
time. This
Yeah.
happened, and like people fucked this up, and like that felt so. That immediately engendered me more towards like, this is a fairy tale that happened and it went dark.
Yes.
Rather than like,
For sure.
this is like what's the word I'm looking for? Like a speech on something else, or like a statement on something, kind of thing.
Yeah, it definitely, like as soon as like kind of like we said, child narrator, like I immediately like went to like fairy tale, like Hansel Gretel like type vibes, like somebody's in the forest like taking your kids, and then pretty close to the beginning of the movie, I immediately went to Prisoners like mindset.
Weirdly too, I also thought of Prisoners in this.
Yeah, I got that vibe pretty quick, so I dug in like really easily. I was like, this is I'm down for whatever mood you're setting right now. So yeah, I definitely I'm way more positive on this by far than negative for sure.
Yeah, I think that Prisoners reference comes a lot from particularly the Josh Brolin character and a parental figure with a missing child, right? And kind of
Jackman.
Yeah, for sure. And like discussing with the police, like, okay, well, how hard are you looking? Where's my child? What's going on? Have we tried this person? I think this person's the suspect. Why haven't we gone after the teacher further, and things of that nature? So I agree with that, as well as the child narrator kind of makes it the I don't want to say the easy out, because that's like sounds like we're not necessarily knowledgeable of film, but it is kind of the easy out for some of the loopholes. Like, okay, well, we may not have a reliable narrator because it is a child. And it's told as something that's like, hey, this is a story of like our town. There's like the weird witch lady who lives in the house down the street, right? And how that story can just be told over and over again, and how many things change throughout years. So I agree with that, man. One thing I do want to say is I've been seeing some things of obviously it's doing great at the box office, which, as I echoed earlier, I can totally understand why. And they were talking about they want to look into doing a prequel to Aunt Gladys and things of that nature. Like, dude, like, no, I don't. We don't need any of that, man. Let's let Zach Cregger's operate on something else. I know he's got rumblings for a new Resident Evil film, which would be pretty cool. I would love to see him. We've already talked about him having great POV shots. Now we incorporate POV shots into a Resident Evil IP, which is a video game. Be fucking awesome, right? So let's let him focus on that, and we don't really need prequels for Aunt Gladys. The Aunt Gladys character is very interesting, though, and I think they do enough world building around her where you start to question some things, right? Because originally she's introduced as when Alex's parents are talking, Alex's mom references to her partner, her husband, that this is her aunt, right? So you would assume her mom's sister or her dad's sister. And I think she said mom's sister because she's like, my mom would do the same thing for her. Yep. Something like that, right? And that they haven't seen her in 15 plus years, right? But then you fast forward into another chapter, Alex's chapter, she's talking to Alex and she's saying, hey, I haven't seen you in like 5 years.
Yeah,
or something like that.
And
it's
little
like,
baby.
Yeah. Little interesting. Yeah, you're like, okay, but he's not 15.
She introduces herself to the principal as Alex's mom's sister. She's like, she's my baby sister or something like that. So like, I think
he knows her as an actual aunt, like it's his parents' sister.
Yeah. I kind of think she's not even like actually related at all. She's just like
I agree. I don't think so at all.
A witch who's trying, and that's backed up in the parasite thing, right? That they keep talking about in the classroom and that kind of thing.
I agree. I agree.
But yeah, it's that thing of like,
I think you would argue that
she's a distant relation, and we're just doing it to be the good family members, and then oh no, we've got the wrong fucking person in here, and now we're fucked. And
or so it's hard to tell if the mother actually knows this person as an aunt.
Yeah.
Right? Like that could also be the story.
Yeah.
That she knows this person as an aunt, but like that's not her mom's sister, right?
Yeah.
Her mom's sister could be somebody who was put under a spell fucking 75 years ago from this same lady or something of that nature, right? So I do think that's a really cool thing where you don't have an idea of really who her relation is to the rest of the family involved. And you don't have an idea of how old she is, because now you understand that she's doing this witchcraft and she's taking people's life forms and harvesting youth, right? Obviously, it's not forever because she is old and ailing. But yeah, who knows? Like this could be something from a very, very different time frame. Another thing I brought up too, and this is doing some digging, so I can't take credit to this, but she mentions Alex's father. He has something wrong with him. He said she has a stroke and he has like consumption, or something of that, which is like basically
super old
verbiage. Yeah, verbiage that they would use for like alcoholism and something else in like the 1800s. Yeah. So like, even more so leads like, ooh, like she's old as fuck.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And it's from stealing people's life form. So yeah, that's totally cool, man. I think that character was awesome. Eerily creepy. The wig even adds to it. But yeah, I don't want additional backstories on her though. Like they gave us enough. They leave it up to the audience for interpretation, which I love when directors do that.
I spent so much of this movie trying to figure out where I knew her from. And it wasn't until afterwards I was like, Jesus Christ, she's the mom in Field of Dreams.
Like, I have no idea who she is. This is kind of my first time even coming across.
You said Jesus Christ, and all I thought of was it's Jason Bourne.
No, yeah, she's the wife / mom in Field of Dreams, which is 100% where I know her from. Yeah, she's great. Loved it. Would recommend.
Yeah. So yeah, it's cool. I like it. I don't want to shit on it, guys. Like I said, I do have some gripes. I'm not like anti-weapons, right? Nobody's saying any of that. I've already seen stuff. Oh yeah, right. Not in this country. But yeah, so I see why it's going to do the numbers it's going to do at the box office. I've already seen some things. I think it's the highest grossing like August horror film of all time. Some weird niche fact like that. But yeah, totally agree. Zach Cregger's awesome. I'm open to whatever he's doing next. He's doing Resident Evil. That should be very intriguing. Adam, do you want to share any thoughts on this? I mean,
was gonna say,
what's funny is
Yeah, Adam's the only person that hasn't, said a ton. So
I've been trying to get in here and there, but y'all are just chomping at the bit.
yeah, I'm sorry,
No?
man.
No,
You know
no,
I
it's
get
all good.
when it
No,
comes to
it's-
horror movies.
It's sign of a
But
good movie.
watching this, I
and-
was like, this is an Adam horror movie if I fucking know one. Like that's like all I was thinking
And
from
it
like
is.
watching this. I
And
was like,
it
this
is.
is Adam's gonna like this movie. So go ahead,
I
talk
absolutely
to us.
did. Well, no, it's interesting, Ty, when you brought up like the gun violence thing, because like that was all I could think about from when I first saw the trailer, was this being some kind of analogy or some kind of like messaging or story about gun violence. And even though, and I was surprised to hear Zach Cregger come out and say, well, like, no, it's not supposed to be about that, or it's not necessarily supposed to be a direct parallel to that kind of thing. Because when I'm watching this movie with that in my mind, and I feel like he does have some very subtle imagery when it comes to that. And I almost wonder if he just didn't really want to come out and explicitly say that. Because again, it is the low-hanging fruit. And that's why I kind of like this movie, was it didn't end up being directly about that, and didn't end up feeling like they were trying to make this a gun violence thing or anything like that. And it definitely led into other places, which I think was the right way to go. I think it would have just been way, way, way too on the nose, obviously. But there is still some good subtle imagery, like just the I noticed, and maybe this was just because I'm looking for it, but obviously nothing's, everything's intentional on screen in a film. And in those early scenes when Julia Garner's character is speaking at the grieving counseling session for the community, and there's some American flags in the background, and there's one shot where Josh Brolin gets out of his truck and you see like a American flag on a very high up, behind him in the background, like pole and stuff like that. And it just felt like very subtle things where I'm like, you can't really do a classroom disappearing except for the kid who got bullied without it having something to do with that, and the imagery kind of lining up in that way. And I am happy that it wasn't just, oh, this whole movie is about that and the commentary on it, that kind of thing. I am glad it didn't go that route, and I'm
glad
did
it
hear the
didn't too.
kind of,
Yeah.
yeah. But I do still think that he's trying to say some certain things about it, and the tie to kind of alcoholism, which I think is part of why Paul's character, and even to an extent I think it was James, or the drug addict character, I think that's part of why they're in there too.
I think Julia Garner's character, I think she's supposed to be recovering as well too.
Yes,
but,
her
like,
too.
She
is. Yeah.
Definitely just drinking
alcohol.
instead.
Absolutely.
Great job.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And there's also, I think Josh Brolin's character is really interesting in that, where it's like his role as a father, he doesn't seem like he has a lot of regrets for what he didn't say to his son, or didn't do, and it seems like he's very involved with his construction or development business, whatever it is. And it kind of like that's where his son goes in his nightmare, is to the house that he's building. And it's like, okay, well, is he an absent father and just too focused on his work, like that kind of thing? And it definitely goes into overarching things of missing parents or missing people, or the things that kind of consume you. So I think it was really well done in that front, where I don't think you can have this movie and say it has nothing to do with gun violence. And I did, like I said, I thought that was kind of interesting that he said like, oh, that's not really what I'm trying to do. Because I don't think that's really like, whether you are like, I don't think that's necessarily the case. Like, I don't think you can come up with a story and not see that parallel. Now, whether he wanted to focus on it or not throughout the whole movie, I think it's apparent that he wasn't trying to make this whole movie about that. But to me, it's interesting that you brought up that like it wasn't until you saw the gun that was like kind of in your head, because to me that's like all I could think about. And then when I saw that gun, I was like, well, that's a little on the nose. that's when I was like, oh,
yeah,
okay,
that's
well.
I genuinely I think if that wasn't in there, I really probably wouldn't have been able to draw the line or like make like a correlation to gun violence. I genuinely would have had this live in its own little kind of fairy tale world where this witch takes these kids and she just goes from neighborhood to neighborhood, and I think it would have lived perfectly fine in there. But yeah, because of that, that's what made me go there. And it's very interesting that he has come out and said that there isn't really like a direct correlation, or that's where he didn't want to go. Because yeah, it's like it almost makes it feel more blatant or on purpose that you are trying to go that route because that imagery isn't there.
Yeah, he could also just be avoiding the question too. Like,
Yeah,
no,
100%.
no.
There's a little bit of that. Yeah. I mean, it's too obvious not for it not to be there. And like I said, he does very subtle things. There's some flag. If you go back and watch this, look for the flags. They're there.
Yeah, I would like to. I would like to catch it on rewatch and just see how much more I noticed. Right, it is one of those films where I'm sure. I don't know if I'll get to it back in theaters. I'm sure once it goes to streaming, I'll hop on it within the first month or two, and just give it a rewatch and kind of see what else I can pick up. Because yeah, there are some underlying themes in here. Rather it's school shootings, rather it's alcoholism, whatever it may be. So yeah, Zach Skreggers, he is good for that. Sure.
Yeah.
I do want to shout out the. Go ahead.
No, I was just gonna say, just kind of keep tagging off this point. I was like super watching the movie and kind of thinking about. I was excited to get to Alex's POV with this kind of like gun violence thing in the back of my mind watching this of like, are we gonna get motivation? Like, are we gonna discover it was this kid? Like what are his parents like? You know what I mean? Like we saw it was a very interesting the way it plays out in the story, the timing of it, of when we see this kind of goes to Nathaniel's point earlier of Zach Kreger knowing when when to give the audience information or knowing when to kind of advance some things in the story. It's like we finally get to him, we see him getting bullied, and that's when Aunt Gladys shows up. Those things happened hand in hand. But it was also interesting, just like really wanting to see like what his parents were going to be like, and that having that being like, oh, they're actually super encouraging, and it seemed like great parents up until they get possessed. So I think that was an interesting choice for me, having that in the back of my mind the whole time, and then I've been trying to kind of unravel a little bit more of what the messaging is there with, and it kind of has come to the conclusion of the lost parents or the alcoholism, the consumption, the parasite too. I thought those were some interesting parallels to make of making alcoholism or drug abuse and addiction like a parasite that can feed off people. Very interesting parallels there too. But
yeah, and she talks about
that's the point I wanted to say
in one of her.
Well, it's all over, man. It's on the. Yeah, it's on the whiteboard, and then the principal, Benedict Wong.
Yeah, him and his husband are watching a documentary on cordyceps.
And yeah, so there's definitely some good allusions there to it, but
yeah, that was funny. And go ahead.
I was just gonna shout out the gore aspect of this before we get too far and decide to finish. Anytime you are able to accomplish that stuff is great, and Benedict Wong killing his husband in the fucking kitchen is absolutely
was crazy,
gnarly and brutal on all aspects.
And it keeps going.
And then he black throws up on him, like the typical like possession goo throw up, and I'm like,
that was very God. Like Evil Deadish.
Yeah, for sure.
To see that.
Yeah,
his eyeballs bugging out after he's like crushed the front of his forehead in, like that was great.
Yeah, dude, fucking insane. And then him getting hit by the car, and it pans up to like his brain matter being all over the street, and then it's basically just shot. And then the final finale, the big payoff at the end, where this old lady is just getting fucking
ripped.
This old witch is getting mobbed by 17 kids.
And, dude,
you go.
My theater was
you go back
cheering.
to the age-old question. Yeah, for sure. Yeah. That's where some of the comedy came in too. They're just fucking running through these fucking people's houses, and then you get the guy who's mowing his lawn, and there's just an old lady who's running through the yard, and then there's just fucking a pack of wild kids just fucking following her. And so I was like, oh my God. But yeah, if you ever are trying to answer the age-old question, you versus 2014-year-olds or whatever it is, like you might want to rethink your answer on whether or not you can fight off 20, 14-year-old kids.
Yeah, right.
16, 11-year-olds or whatever.
And
it
I
is.
love
Yeah.
how many windows Kreger has them smash through in that final finale. It's like 4 or 5 times that they're just running through
for sure.
windows. They can't just all run in single file. No, they gotta smash through like
it's fucking
Awesome.
it's wild. It's very well done, and and then obviously the thumb pokes through her eyes, and they're just got shit out, and then finally they just rip her jaw in fucking half, and it's fucking insane. At one point you get that bird's eye view, and she's got like a leg off in like part of the yard, and when they do rip her fucking head in half, it's like you get the classic fucking like blood spray all over them. And so I'm like,
some good practical effects.
Yeah, so I'm like, think how, not only has the fact of them being possessed, quite traumatizing, but now you get the aspect that you ripped a lady into multiple small pieces that you now have to live with. So
the gore in here, to your point, is one I'm glad we need to give credit to as well, because that's a lot of practical effects, not a ton of CGI that we can see. Even looks like the practical effects for like the makeup on the possessed people still looks pretty good, and the possessed, they don't go over the top with like crazy CGI faces and like black eyes and mouths. You know what I mean? You can tell it's just raw makeup on a person. So yeah, shout out to them for that, man. But yeah, I'm tired of ripping on it. I will give it some credit, but yeah.
All right, we're running really long on time, so I'm going to get us out of here. Welcome back, listeners who skipped over the spoiler segment of the podcast. We're going to go ahead and throw up weapons upon our Entropy list. For those of you who do not know, the Entropy list is Back Row Banter's official list of all the movies we have reviewed, regardless of genre, regardless of anything else, all on one fantastic list. It's essentially how we rate our movies rather than do out of 5 stars, out of 10, whatever it is. We throw up all the movies we review and see how they compare to one another, and see how they compare in tiers. New addition to our Entropy list. If you have not listened to the last couple episodes, our Entropy list now has a separate holding place. It's still going to be on Letterboxd, but it's also, we have a document that is going to separate our movies into tiers. So nothing changes with our ranking system. We are still going to rank it how we usually do. But once it is ranked, it will be associated and slotted into a certain tier. If you want to see that Entropy list and the tier list for yourself, you can do so by checking the episode description, where I have still forgotten to put the link in, but I will do that and do it retroactively as well, because I forgot last week and the week before. But it's going to be there. Don't worry. Weapons. Where's Barbarian on this list, fellas? Anyone see it?
B tier.
125.
Yeah.
Okay.
Adam, do you like this more than Barbarian?
Yes. I think this is a better movie than Barbarian, and I probably like it more. I think the viewing experience of Barbarian was far greater just because my expectations were lower.
Sure.
Yeah. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
But I think as a movie, I think this is the better movie. I really do. And I really, really enjoyed my time with this, and Barbarian too, but definitely with this one as well. Okay. Barbarian at 125.
Oh, I got a spot.
Do it.
115.
Dude, you motherfucker, bro. This is like the second week where we are absolutely fucking spot on with each other. That is exactly where I was gonna fucking put it.
Right above Rebel Ridge, right below Rain of Fire.
100%. I was like,
awesome.
I'm like, I think this is probably gonna land like right in here. And then I saw both those movies, and I'm like, this could easily split those for me.
That's where I'm at, brother.
Dude,
So that's B tier
Too high
for the group.
I mean, I think it's a B tier.
Okay.
I think it's
Nathaniel,
a B tier for
talk to me, man. You got this over The Descent, brother?
All right, now so we've long talked that The Descent is a fucking S tier movie that this podcast has fucking shit on for years.
Sure,
all right,
sure,
I'm gonna come out. We've got the tier list now, and I'm gonna use them. Descent is an S tier movie.
Okay.
Descent should and will be, God willing, an S tier movie at some point. I don't even count that movie anymore. Like that one's it doesn't even get a ranking. It's just it's in the ether. It's gonna move up. I will push it up if I have to.
Okay.
That being said, yeah, I mean that puts this above La La Land. That puts us above Bad Boys, The Fabelmans, Challengers. Malignant. I like this more than Barbarian.
Okay.
I
Like it more than Malignant?
I do, yeah. Like Malignant's not my favorite James Wan. Conjuring's gonna be, or Saw is gonna be up there before that. Sure. Even Insidious, that's a movie that, like, for me, I saw it in high school. I will always have memories of that movie, right?
Yeah.
But 100%. But I do think, like, I think Kreger, I'm interested. I want to see what he does next. Like, I think this is a little bit of a vote of, like, all right, man, show me what you got. I don't think this is an Us. I think this is a Nope more than it is
Okay, sure. Yeah, I got you. Yeah.
So yeah, that's where I'm at. I'm at 115.
Yeah, my justification was all the other movies around it, kind of like what Nathaniel was saying. Bad Boys is really the only, and The Descent obviously are the only two that like really stick out. I do think that this does better than Challengers, Fabelmans, definitely better than La La Land, fucking trash. Better than Pinocchio, Rebel Ridge. So yeah. But yeah, that's like my justification. So I saw all those movies and then I was just like, yeah, this 115 sounds pretty good to me. So
Okay. Yeah, I mean, I was kind of teetering like C tier to like low B tier. Then you kind of get into the movies of it, and it starts to get a little challenging. But ultimately, I think it was really hard, man. And obviously, there's movies in here that we always say that should be ranked way higher than they are. And two that I get to that are like relatively new. I mean, I think Maxine's a little high, which oddly enough, it's the highest ranking in that trilogy. Although probably the worst film.
Significantly better.
Yeah, which is like kind of strange when you look at it on here. But then like two that really stick out to me, like Seeing Pearl at 154 and then Late Night with the Devil at 156. I think I actually like what those two bring to the horror genre more than what this did. And this isn't my favorite Kregers. I do like Barbarian more than this. Probably more so due to Adam's point of like just that blind watch with no expectations of Barbarian is honestly like one of my favorite viewing experiences since the pandemic. Like that's not hyperbole either. In terms of like sitting down in a theater, I was like, let me just go watch what this is. Have no idea. And then like I'm like, wow, this was awesome. So that carries a lot of weight. I mean, I think seeing those up there, then working my way down, I'm gonna go above Scream 6 just because I don't really care for Scream 6. But honestly, I think I'm gonna be below Us, Pitch Black, Underwater, and No Time to Die. I think I'm actually gonna go 166 and go above Last Breath, below No Time to Die. So we'll put it above Black Widow, terrible movie. The Rock, probably should be moved a little bit. Napoleon, not a good movie. And above Insidious, which is a heavy hitter. So
True.
that's where I'm at, 166. Adam?
Yeah.
I mean, I didn't think I was crazy for putting it here necessarily, but I'm gonna go to 78.
Holy shit!
Below American Psycho, above Boys in the Hood. Man, I think that again, this is tier list has helped us a little bit. I think in terms of like figuring out because I think this is an A tier movie. I'm not gonna push for S tier, not even close. But
okay,
I think this is an A tier movie, and
you like this
when I look at that, probably. Probably not by a lot. They're neck and neck,
though, right? Or who was the biggest? Nathaniel, right?
It's funny enough. Tyler put it on his top 5.
I was gonna say I put it.
Tyler put it on his top 5. When I went back to go put it in its proper place and figure out where all of our rankings were, his ranking was actually the lowest, which was funny. I think if he had ranked it with us and the episode, that would have changed.
Yeah.
But anyway, yeah, I do like this. Just it edges out Sinners. Probably barely.
Wow. Okay. So this is one of your favorite movies of the
really
year.
Liked it, dude. Yeah, man, it's up there. It's one or two. It's tied with Sinners, and then I would put this right next to Sinners on this list. But then I look at like Suicide Squad, Sorry to Bother You, Warfare, Barbie, and Boys in the Hood. I'm like, I would prefer this over all of those. And then I finally hit the wall of American Psycho. So I'm gonna put it there, and I'm not gonna feel bad about it.
Wow,
78 for me.
Okay,
I really like this movie,
man.
I think it's very well made.
It's ballsy. I like it.
We'll feel bad about it for you.
Where does that
you
averages out in? Probably
it does give us an interesting
130
spot.
something.
118.5, meaning we put it at 119. I gotta see what that is here as I'm scrolling.
And it's
up.
above The Descent. I'm dying. And so
Yeah, 119 is below Fablemans and above Bad Boys.
I mean, I guess it's relatively fair. It's a little bit above Barbarian, close to Malignant. Two movies that are awesome viewing experiences, right? Weapons,
movie
pretty cool
that's
viewing
awesome
experience. Was that Ty?
I said one movie that's an awesome experience.
Is Ty anti-Malignant?
Yeah,
or is
it's
it
For
Barbarian?
sure. No, I'm
Anti-Malignant, that's what it is. Yeah. You're not a fan of the reverse clone throwing the chair across the fucking police station?
Absolutely not. Yeah, fucking
Yeah.
Voldemort.
Now, for as much credit as I give Malignant, I've only rewatched it once since theaters.
I've
And
probably
like, that thing's been on
rewatched it.
That thing's been on HBO Max for like 2 years.
I was gonna
already.
say I've probably rewatched it 3 times. I throw that movie up
Yeah.
all the time.
Yeah, that's why I'm Barbarian though. Like Barbarian's like, I'm just gonna put this shit on in the background.
Sure.
So I'm gonna take you up with a Malignant on there. So okay, Weapons 119, man. Adam with the 8 here for the horror movie. Just
Dude,
I want to
how-
applaud Adam, man, for if we had this tier list in
is an A tier for
2020,
you guys, man. I thought
does
this movie
Adam
was
put a horror
awesome.
movie in his A tier? That's the question.
Adam doesn't put
Something
a
like
movie
this?
before 1970
Maybe.
as A tier.
Well, good thing this came out this year.
True.
Yeah. Wow. I knew this was an Adam movie though. Like I was like, this is
It's
Adam's
pretty up
gonna
my
make this
alley.
movie.
Let's be honest.
Yeah,
You know,
for sure.
It's
I'm
not.
happy
It's
to know
not
about it.
hard.
More than
edged.
FD6.
It's not hard edged enough for Blake. That was my immediate reaction upon seeing this.
I mean, I know I hate to be that pretentious, but like I can have fun with the horror movies, guys. I like Shaun of the Dead. I like Final Destinations. I like Malignant and Barbarian. But yeah, man, I don't know. Bring Her Back like got me like back on edge for like modern horror, and I was like, this is what we need.
Mm-hmm.
I hear you. Well, we're like super long on time. I'm gonna move us out of here. I don't know. We don't have anything on the calendar official next week, so I'm time stamping for a post-pod Adam appearance
shit.
right here. Hey, listeners, we'll be watching Howl's Moving Castle next week, the Studio Ghibli movie that is currently streaming on HBO Max. So you can go check it out there and join us for our review next week.
Post-pood.
And then, cool, go watch that. While you're doing your viewing of whatever movie we're doing next week, make sure you share the podcast, share with a friend, family member, maybe a classmate or two, assuming they're at school tomorrow. And then while you're doing all that, you can follow us on Twitter. We're at Banter Row. On YouTube, we're Back Row Banter. And our email is backrowbanterpod@gmail.com if you want to send us one of those. You can find me on Letterboxd at Asian, on Twitter at H24. That's AYYSH. Nathaniel.
You can find me on Letterboxd at Gingrich. You can find me on Instagram, NathanielG92. You can find me on Blue Sky at NS Gingrich. Yeah. Tyler?
You can find me on Instagram, Letterboxd, and X, all Tyler Vidalis, VIDALES, Blake.
Letterboxd BlakeHolder on there. Log some things, rate them out of 5 stars. PSN, Mr. Watercoolers, Xbox, Mr. Watercoolers. Has Adam gone? Is it Adam?
Yeah, I
It's
kicked us
Adam.
out, or kicked us off.
All right. Well, thanks for listening. Thanks for the support. Tune in next week. We'll have Postpod Adam jump in there and tell us what we're detailing. And we will. BRB.
America. Ready for another lesson.
When I own
sons of bitches.
When I own my bar bookstore with volleyball courts on the back side of it, I'll be raking that motherfucker every day.
Bar, bookstore, movie theater, podcast studio.
You act like you wouldn't show up to that motherfucker. That'd be having a great time.
The thing is, though, you have a good business idea.
It's a one-stop shop,
right?
Yeah, we could make it
You
happen.
just need a small loan of $1 million.
Yeah, right.
Word to Trump.
Yeah. I mean, I could start saying some crazy shit and that'd probably get my money there quick. Or I could become a felon. That seems to be the quickest way to get his attention and get pardoned and then just go from there.
It's not a bad plan. It's like Nathan for you. The plan: commit a felony so you get a personal pardon from the president.
So I can get his attention, get all the right-wing money behind me, and start my own business. I only want to make $50,000 this year.